Yo, man, Miss Rusty. Welcome to the Public Access Podcast. I am your host, Rusty Diamond, and this is I don't know, it's year 5, but year 10 of this show. A lot of back stuff if you want to go back. Uh, this is on the Quantum Global Broadcasting Network, brought to you by Rolex. When roll W isn't quite enough for you, roll X. That's been my new thing. One day they're going to be one of my sponsors. They're sponsors. They're not getting sponsored today, so it's just Rolex.
Or maybe Rolodex. Start there, right?
Yeah, Rolodex. When roll a W isn't quite there, Rolodex. So that's going to be something. So if you guys know what a Rolodex is, you're in the right place. If you don't know what a Rolodex is,
That's appropriate for our conversation.
I think so. So here today, right now, right here, this person I've known since I was, well, let's say I've known this person since 1987. So that, we'll go with that. So if you
That's
can,
great.
you can add or subtract anything you want there. But I've known since 1987. Know probably, I don't know. I mean, there's not a lot of people. I don't think there's anyone really that knows me better or that, So yeah, as we go way back, yeah, I way too long, way too much. And now is the author, now an author, published author and coach and everything, and one of my favorite people. We have Camille, Virginia. How are you doing?
Hey, great. Excited to be here, Rusty.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you. I mean, if I would have been doing this few years back, I would have had you on earlier, but it had to happen. I was like, I need to get a hold of Camille. I don't know why I haven't had Camille on yet. And it's stupid not to. So,
I love
okay.
it.
So, yeah, good. Well, so yeah, so I've known you since 1987, and so that's a pretty long time. We've gone on a million vacations together, had you over at, all kinds of whatever, been in a lot of
Holiday,
classes, holidays,
birthdays,
birthdays.
first grade,
First, yeah, I think just about anything. And yeah, so it's been a bit. It's been a bit, and yeah, so I don't know. There's been so much. It's like you pass Ian, who was on, I don't know how long ago, maybe
Mhm.
whatever. I think you're 18 and he was like number 6. So it's been however long that is, but I've known him since first
88.
grade, 88. Yeah. So you got him beat by a year. You got him beat by
Woohoo!
you when I was in preschool. So um because I'm only 28. So
Me too.
I know. So it's good that way. But so yeah, so I mean we both kind of had different paths. You went out to California after Oregon. You were in California down there in college, and then you went to Chicago for
9 years.
9 years. So how is it right now being not in Chicago in December?
Oh my gosh, wonderful. Yeah, the winters were a big part of why I moved out, but I love Chicago. I was born there, but so I just heard that this was the coldest Christmas on record for most of the US in 40 years. And I was like, I mean, not to date myself, but I'm going to be
Right.
40 in a few weeks. And I was like, no wonder I'm cold. I was born in Chicago a few weeks after the coldest Christmas on record in 40 years. I'm always cold. So thanks a lot, Chicago in January. But yeah, anyway,
Man,
um,
my back. It's
yeah.
it's crazy. It's yeah, I mean it's wild. Not I don't know. Like yeah, I was thinking about that. Like just seeing how much snow and stuff is going on in Minnesota and thinking about those winters I was there and
Yeah, so you've tasted it too. I mean, it's ridiculous.
yeah.
People say you get used to it, but I just had more memories of snow and cold and ice that built up every year, so that didn't work for me.
That's kind of what I figured out. And then in the last few days it's been chilly and all of a sudden everything starts aching a little bit more. And you're like I I think it's time for me to maybe one of these next times it's gonna be going to some little island I think is where it might go, some tropical place or Arizona or some
There you
Mexico
go.
or something. But I don't know. I do like the Midwest a lot. I grew quite fond of it. And I was like that close to getting a place in Iowa. Uh,
Oh, that's the worst. That's worse
yeah,
than Minnesota.
yeah. That's why I think I liked it. It was because it was like right. I was like looking right on the border of Iowa and Minnesota, like right there down
Oh,
by this the spam town.
you're
And I
nuts.
mean, yeah, just as far as nobody around, no nothing, and everything was cheap and it was great. But yeah, I don't know. I miss the Midwest, but
You you
it's
got
good to
your
be out.
sampling of it.
Yeah, I got my sampling of it, and so yeah, I'll see what's going on where. But so now and so okay, so now you're doing um the whole
Offline
big, big,
dating?
big project of offline dating, which
Yes.
I mean, with okay, like I mean, you probably got this question a million times and with, how did you get into offline dating? And so without going to that question, because I mean, so you've gotten to it because the a lot of online dating has been pretty horrible. And I mean, I can go with that. I've had a lot of terrible, terrible experiences with online dating. And so, I mean, it makes sense. You definitely were there to fill a void of and being the pioneer of what you're doing, which is the cool part too. You're the pioneer. And so I mean it makes you the expert of it. So anybody wants to know about offline dating, you talk to Camille.
That's right. Yeah.
That's yeah,
I kind of made it up. Like I was like, well, what's the opposite of this online dating crap that people are complaining about? Offline dating. Cool. That's the
yeah.
name of my company. Um, so yeah, I mean, I got into it very organically. I was in corporate America for a decade, and I just started teaching workshops on the side of how to meet guys. Because I would, despite being an introvert, I would like meet men in random places. I mean, I met my first boyfriend on a Southwest Airlines flight in 2004, and um,
Was that
it's just
before? Was that with the assigned seating, or was this after they were doing the different levels? So like how that happened? Because on my last podcast, I was talking about this on the bus. So it's sort of the similar game here. So
yeah.
how'd that come about? So were you sitting down or was he sitting down? And then
So it was before assigned seating levels, any of that. It was just whoever sat down in line first got to get on the plane first. So, as soon as the one person sat down, everyone's like, oh, shoot. And everyone would go and the line would fill up really quickly.
yeah,
Um, so I was running late. I was actually down at college and coming back to Portland, where we grew up. And I think it was like the last one on the plane, pretty much. And so I didn't really have a choice of where to sit. So there was a guy in the aisle, And then there was a woman with a baby by the window and a middle seat, and it was towards the front. And I was like, well, I just got to grab it, you know. And this guy looked miserable. And I found out later he was coming from he was a CPA coming from a project that was terrible. And anyway, he and
Oh,
I hit it off, and that's Joey.
and it worked. So like, so what? I mean, what was talked about? I mean, what was the icebreaker? What was the icebreaker when you was the icebreaker you sitting down, or was it like, oh, because like
Hmm.
I see you here. Uh, I don't know, because yeah, like we made eye contact. Hey,
Well,
hey,
I think I'm just like a friendly person like you, and so I just was chatting with him. And I was actually going back to see another guy that I was kind of dating. It was Valentine's Day weekend, and I was very open with this guy next to me. I was like, "Yeah, I'm kind of seeing this guy back home. We're gonna figure things out. I'm going home for Valentine's Day weekend." And um, this was back in the day of AIM messaging, so we
ooh,
we just talked, and he was interesting. He was a few years older than me, very good looking, um, confident, and we just had really interesting. He asked great questions, and I love that. And so we exchanged AIM names, but it was just friendly for me later because it turns out he was a little off his rocker. He
what were
accused me.
what? Oh,
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, what were your AIM names? Do you remember? I was racking my brain trying to think of mine, and I had a number of them, but I
His
don't
was
know.
like his last name and something, but like people had like dog, DAW, 321, or like things like that. Mine
Right.
was like Cam something. I don't know. What was yours? Oh,
Uh,
what was yours?
I want to say I had like Star Wars stuff, and I had never seen Star Wars, and I'm like, I'm gonna do Star Wars names because that's what people like. So I don't I don't know. It was like I want to say it was like Stormtrooper 51 or something like that,
Oh
or
yeah. Okay,
it
that
was
sounds familiar.
something weird. I had never seen Star Wars. I didn't see Star Wars until like 4 years ago, probably after I got my first knee surgery, and I was on painkillers, and I'm like, I'm gonna watch Star Wars now.
Oh, that's like one of your brother's favorite movies.
Yeah,
What
that's why I didn't watch it, because
Oh, Ben.
I was
Oh,
like, oh,
Rusty.
yeah, no, that's cool. I was like, ah, I'm not gonna do it. That's the, I'm trying to be cool, trying to be cool. I'm like, nah, I'm not gonna watch that. So
Uh-huh. That's for him,
yeah,
not me. Got it.
right, yeah. So I didn't get
Well,
into it
well, what did you
until
think
later.
of it once you've watched it?
I like the well, it was all right, and I mean, because I had watched I had seen like the one that came out, the episode one in like '98 or something like
Oh
that.
God, those were horrible. Well, not
Yeah,
horrible, but those were not good.
I saw it in the theater with Alex, and it was at midnight at the Lake Theater over in Lake Oswego, and I fell
Oh my
asleep.
gosh.
And so I mean, what those I don't know how I fell asleep. Those were some of the most uncomfortable seats ever,
Yep.
but that's how bad the movie was. So
Yep.
I
You're like,
saw
what's all the
the
hype about? This is terrible.
yeah, and yeah, everyone's coming in the next day to school like, oh, I love that movie, and I was like, I fell asleep. And so I don't know. The Star Wars was all right. I liked Empire Strikes Back. Um, like I didn't like the end of Star Wars, the original Star Wars. It was whatever. And then Return of the Jedi was like, it's all right. So like I liked one of the three, but they're not bad. None of them were bad. And I liked the new ones though, which was I didn't expect. Somehow I just got into those. I'm like, oh, I like these. These are cool.
Hmm.
But yeah, that's Star Wars. But so that was my name. So in a roundabout way. So back to um, so you were doing AIMs, didn't have emojis. It was just like you just do the colon and
I think so. Yes. Yeah.
parentheses for a smiley face. So you
Yeah.
guys before I don't know, for some of our listeners, so Yeah, AIM was what we used to use before people were just texting and
Yeah, it's
everything.
pre-tech. Well, it's around text. Yeah.
Around, yeah, I guess people were texting then. I think I got a phone in 2000, which was, yeah, what, like my, when I was whatever 18, I got a phone. I had a pager before that. I got a pager when I turned 16 and got my driver's license. So I had a pager for 2 years. So
Hey.
yeah, so if you guys need to know about those pager codes, the numbers that you would type in, you can ask this guy right here. I knew those. But yes, I mean, we had cell phones, but I mean, and then however much it costs to do texts. So having the AIM was a good thing because you can go on there. You're going to probably tie up the the line. Maybe there was cable. There might have been cable then.
No, I
Like,
don't think so. I remember like calling people from my cell phone in my room and we would laugh about it because it was so ridiculous because my parents were on the landline.
yeah, yeah. So and
Well, and
so
you had a
yeah,
lot of people in your family, so that would, you know.
yeah. I didn't get to talk on the phone too often, and so like, well, I don't know, because we had the second line downstairs, and the third,
That's
if
right.
we could hook up a phone because there was a fax line too there. So there was the house line, the business line, the fax line, and so we could unplug the fax machine and put in a thing there. But you'd be standing next to the person who's on the business phone. So it was a very rare occasion that happened, but usually I just didn't talk on the phone. So,
Yeah.
and I would have been all over the internet if, that was an option, but I know, so you were on there, but this would have been like after high school or somewhere in there. It would like 2000, at least after 2001 or 2002. So
For which part?
for AOL Instant Messenger.
Yeah, that was 2004, but I've had it since freshman year, so 2001. So like early aughts.
You the Instant Messenger?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think some people had it in school. I had to go to a friend's house to make it like in middle school. That was that was my thing. And
Oh,
then
funny.
yeah, and then we looked up stuff that we shouldn't have looked up, like, but it was the 90s and stuff. You can look things up on the internet, but like now that I look back on it and I'm like, oh, like his parents probably could have gotten in some trouble for the stuff that we looked up. Like, what are his parents looking at? Like, so good thing if that ever comes up, I don't know, but I think that was trouble. But so the instant messenger. So you would go and talk on instant messenger. Were you doing phone calls too after 9 o'clock or on the weekends or when it was cheap? Was that the time around when it was it like you could do the
Oh.
nights and weekends, or like, I mean,
Oh
like,
gosh, that's right. Yeah, nights and weekends. I forgot about that. Yeah, probably. I think, yeah, counting down to because it was when you
yeah,
started the call, I think, that it locked in the rate. I don't know. But yeah,
yeah.
I forgot about that. Nights and weekends. Oh my God.
Because I mean, it's a different ball game than just being able to go and, I mean, people texting or swiping or
Yep.
whatever now is any time of the day, all time of the day. It wasn't, you have to go and meet people, actually meet people in real life, which, like, I don't know. We both we can meet people. We're not out to meet everybody, but the
No.
people we want to meet, we can meet. And that's a big thing too. There's a big difference between going to meet everybody or only meeting certain people, but like making an attempt to go meet certain people. And so that's more where you come in. So if someone is, rather shy, where were they going? I mean, what's when they're coming to you? If they're
Hmm.
coming to you, how I mean, they're gonna find you because I don't know, because I mean, it's getting around now, which is cool. Like a lot of people, like your business is getting around. So I mean, before, I mean, who's gonna look up? Who's even gonna think about that? Which is great that you were able to think about that, and now that people are starting to find that, and yeah, with so many people just having so many shitty things. Just, I mean, so you're on there, and so they're coming to you. So people are finding you, and so I what are they? What's like? What's a sample of what? Not like what is their whatever their story is, or I mean, what's like something people are coming to you for, or
Yeah.
like having some
Mhm.
whatever it may be.
People are just, I mean, they're just tired of online dating, or they're too scared to even try it because they've heard so many horror stories about it from friends. And so, well, my new website is up and it's SEO optimized. So more people are finding me now because I've
Cool.
optimized for certain terms. I've published quite a few blogs. Um,
And then your books,
and my books, I've done
your
podcasts, I've been in the
appearances on
media,
TV. Sorry, I'm
TV.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah, I
yeah.
see it all over, and it's really exciting. It's cool. It's cool to see it, and
Thank you. Yeah, it's
yeah,
great to finally have my website speak for myself because I had a beautiful website before, but it wasn't very functional and I didn't even know what SEO, I knew what it was, but it was not optimized for SEO. So that's been my project for the past year.
you're doing it yourself.
I did it myself. Uh-huh.
Um, all right, let me talk to you off air. Well, I'll tell you, I got some inside scoops of some things that might be able to assist even more.
Awesome.
Um,
Great.
yeah, there's been some good breakthroughs in that area, but that's crazy. Like, I don't know how you did that. I don't know how you.
Painfully.
It, yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy. Like trying to set up a website.
I did have I had a designer. So she
Oh, good.
luckily
Okay.
did some of the design, but I picked out the templates, I created the sales pages, I wrote all the copy, I did the SEO optimization. So I
Wow.
did, yeah. Um, but you know me, I'm a perfectionist and I want things done a certain way. And this is with my books too. If someone's quality is not my quality, which 99.9% of people's quality is not my quality,
Right.
then I will take it and do it myself and do it the right way. And it will be exactly as I want it. And it's a timeless thing. You know what I mean? Like a book, you publish it once, it's done the way that I want. I did the layout, I designed the cover, I wrote the damn book. Like I
Yeah.
meticulously did everything and I got great publicity. I had a feature article in The Atlantic. I've been in USA Today, Cosmopolitan, GQ, Elle. So, because it was high quality, it wasn't some self-published thing with stick figures on the cover.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, everything about it screams Camille. When I'm looking at it, I'm like, okay, yeah, that's Camille right there. And I mean, yeah. So because you had a publishing deal, yeah, this isn't just
I did. Yeah, I actually
and
won a book proposal contest a couple of years ago, and the first prize was a publishing deal with a small publisher. And he was great in many regards. I mean, publishing a book, I would say, is harder than writing it. That's how intense it is. All the things that you have to think about if you want to do it right. I mean, again, you could put it up on Amazon, sell a few copies, and call it a day. But if you want to publish it right and really get it out there, it is a lot of work. So,
yeah.
yeah, but I did a lot of it myself. He helped guide me and did some things for me, which was great. I really appreciated him, but I also did a lot of the work myself.
So then the media stuff, were you reaching out to people? Are they reaching out to you too? And I mean, 'cause that's a lot of
Both.
work too. Like I've been going through that, and I mean that's a lot of
Yes.
legwork there.
It is
Um,
for little ROI. Yeah,
uh-huh.
I
But
had
it's
a publicist for a few months after the book came out, and she secured a lot of
yeah,
media for me, which was great. I also reached out to a lot of people. Um, so we tag teamed it and got some good publicity. So yeah, and actually, and then the New York Times came to me uh, without any without us going to them at all, and I was about to be published in a feature article the week of March 15th, 2020, and we all know what happened then.
oh, you ended up on page not the
Well,
front page where it should have been.
They pulled it. They pulled it because they thought it was irresponsible to publish something on meeting people in person when everyone's trying to spread the word of social distance. So it was ready to go. The
Oh,
artwork was there. Like I had already, like it was finalized, and they just killed it.
oh,
I know. I was like the New York Times. So
oh.
I'll get it in again, though. Don't you worry, Rusty. I will.
And
I will.
yeah, they still have the article, I assume.
Well,
Or
the
do you
editors.
have it?
No, I
That
never got to see it. The editors changed, so I mean, the journalist who wrote it, I have her contact information, and she probably still has it.
yeah,
But the editor changed, and anyway, I will be in there. Don't you
yeah, you
worry.
will be in there. And the stories changed too.
True.
And the stories changed and evolved, and um, yeah, you'll be in there. Don't yeah, I mean they'll probably see this and then be like, okay, well, I mean, we're stupid COVID screwing this all up.
That's right. Someone call
And
Camille right now. Get her
yeah,
in
yeah,
there.
yeah, that's right. Yeah. Get it now. And so then with I mean with COVID, so like where'd that throw you? I mean, that's gotta throw you for a loop. I mean, are you doing like what I mean, what are you telling people? I mean, because I mean, where I don't know, we're talking Iowa. Iowa didn't change a dang thing. Like Iowa, Iowa didn't close down anything. Iowa, you never had to wear masks. Iowa, you didn't have to stay 6 feet away from anybody.
Hmm.
But in a metropolitan area, it's a bit different.
Yep.
And so, I mean, how's that go? Like, what are you able to tell people without, giving away
Well,
too much that
now,
you don't pay for?
oh no, I'm happy to, give tons of tips and stuff away. I give most of my stuff away for free. And then, when people want the next level of like coaching and accountability and personal support and stuff, that's when they buy my courses or read my book or work with me for coaching. But um, yeah, I mean, COVID was tough, because we just didn't know about it. It was before the vaccine came out. People were dying. It was scary. So I actually took my courses offline, my
Off, you
offline reading
offline,
courses.
offline, offline.
Exactly. Um, because it felt irresponsible to be promoting, hey, go up to really close to people and talk to people, I put them back on maybe, I don't know, like a year later when the vaccine came out and people had assimilated and adjusted. So yeah, I just, I worked on a second edition of my book during that time, updated to be for all genders and all sexual orientations. So I actually published the second edition. Um, and just kind of did some back end stuff while I waited for COVID to die down. And now I'm just back in full swing. Like I don't even really speak to COVID stuff anymore because it's just part of our natural way of life now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So then are you, I mean, so are you still telling people to do the same stuff? I mean, like,
Yeah, I am.
is it just like go up to them?
Yeah, and
I mean, because yeah,
if someone's wearing a mask, now that the mandates are lifted, if they're wearing a mask, just assume they're immunocompromised and maybe leave them alone.
yeah.
But if someone isn't, then I mean, we're all standing next to each other in the grocery store checkout line within a couple feet of each other again. Like we're back to normal in most cases. So
So, grocery store line is usually you get some. I mean, everyone's got to get groceries,
mhm.
which is a great idea. So, I mean, that's a good place right there. Is that one of your places that you suggest
Oh yeah, I
people
suggest
go shopping?
everywhere, everywhere. The dog park, walking down the street, the post office, Starbucks, an airplane, airports. I met a guy volunteering at a shelter for cats. Like, you never know. So anywhere that there are people around is a meeting place. The DMV, post office.
Place where you're going to sit for a long time and do nothing.
Exactly. Strike up a conversation. Where did I meet someone? I can't remember. I'm like, I swear, the older we get, the more stories I have, and I can't like recall them as fast. I'm like, my internal Rolodex is,
The Rolodex. Oh, nice,
blah, blah,
nice.
blah,
Good
tied
callback
up.
there.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Um, so, yeah, but I mean, I have met men, anyone really, in random places. One of my best friends in the world, we met several times. Once in a yoga or a yoga intuition class. A couple years later in a business class. And then a couple years later, she sat down next to me on the bus. She's like, Camille. And she is
Whoa.
one of my closest friends now. I feel like that was the universe being like, come on, guys. Okay, one more time. Third time's a charm.
For real.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, that's you gotta take that. You
Gotta
can't.
pay attention.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. And just paying attention is a huge thing. So I mean, okay, well, let's say someone they're like this all the time, or like you can't see what I'm doing right now, but or whatever kids do, they don't do this. It's like this now, I think.
Those
Have you
kids.
seen this with like when you ask a kid how like what the hand symbol is for using a phone, and then you
No.
ask them what they do, and so like they go like this, like for using a phone, like without I don't have it without the headset on. So like this, so like what it would be, where's my here's a charger. So like, like this,
Okay.
not doing, the hang
Oh, got
loose
it.
thing, or the like when you take a picture,
Mhm.
like it's that, but now it's
Oh,
like
yeah.
that.
Got it. Yes.
Yeah. It's pretty
I wouldn't know
wild.
what this was if someone was like, I'd be like, what are you doing?
Yeah, what are you tapping?
Yeah.
And so I mean, so someone who's constantly just looking down at their phone all the time, I mean, what do you do with in that situation? Is that a go up to them, or is that they're kind of like a mask? Is that kind of
Like
like a mask, like
crutch. Yeah.
a crutch? Yeah, like a metaphorical
Yeah. Well, and I
crutch
mean,
or
it is a
mask.
crutch. Most people are doing it subconsciously because, I mean, you and I grew up without phones. When you're walking down the street, you're walking down the street. Like you're looking around, you're aware, you might be thinking about something. Um, but that's how we grew up. And now people are just in the habit of checking their phones. They're not doing anything important at all. Like everyone knows that. Like dude in the dog park who's over there like you're not doing anything. You're playing solitaire. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like
Yeah.
you're not fooling anybody. You're just uncomfortable standing there by yourself, not doing anything. Like, the whole like Talladega Nights, like, what do I do with my
Yeah.
hands?
I don't know what to do with my hands. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but these are the same people coming to me saying, I can't meet anyone. And you dig in a little further, and they are attached to their phone because it's a crutch. So, I mean, people up until 2007 when the iPhone came out, people didn't, you just sit at the bar, you just stand at the dog park observing. I know it feels weird, but settle into it, give it a couple minutes and just be present. It's a skill that you can hone. Just, get that habit of, oh my God, check my phone, check my phone, check my phone. That's a habit, you can undo it.
Yeah. It's a weird habit too. And it's like, I mean, I don't know. I guess it's hard to be able to, think back to a time before phones for the most part. Or for some people who maybe your clients don't know about it and don't know. So do you just tell them? Do you tell them to, put your phone in your pocket, leave it there. Don't when you're out in public.
Yep.
Just wait until you get into your car or get home or something. Just because you never know. Like these are the times you're going to see someone. These are the times you're going to get on the airplane and you're just going to get right in there and watching the newest, episode of Garfield or whatever you do on
Yeah.
the airplane. So yeah, I mean, you miss
Yep.
out on so much with
On
that.
life, on connections. I mean, my business, here's a little secret, Rusty. My business is not really about dating. It's about connection. And that is my passion. These loneliness statistics break my heart. And I grew up, I mean, you've known me, but like I was very introverted. I had some really awkward, uncomfortable years for a
Me
long time.
too.
Yeah.
Very much. Yeah.
Yeah. And it just breaks my heart that some people either have never grown out of that or they've reverted back to it with the pandemic, with our hyper-connected culture, whatever it is. And I know I'm an empath. I can feel just how lonely that is. And so what I give people to do is the tools, regardless of your relationship status, your gender, your what genders you're attracted to, the tools to connect just casually. And it's not about like, hey, go talk about the weather to this person. It's not that. It's casual, it's small, it's you do need someone's permission to opt into a conversation before you can continue and go a little bit deeper. But I tell you how to start those conversations in small ways by commenting on what's around you, asking a simple question. And then that's where your human skills come in. And you see if the person wants to continue talking or they're interested or, you know, I connected with so many people yesterday. I saw some kids that I used to babysit in our old neighborhood. Um,
Oh,
yeah, it was the day after Christmas, so I was just like, I'm gonna text people Merry Christmas and call them up and I would have called you, but I knew we were talking. So
yeah.
yeah, but I got this natural high of dopamine hits because that's your body saying, yes, connection, good. Stay in the tribe. That means survival. So these are ancient instincts that are telling
Yeah.
us to connect.
That's
Loneliness
why I'm
is,
doing
yeah,
this.
loneliness is just Mother Nature's kicking the ass to get back to the tribe and apologize for whatever you did to get kicked out. Like that's what loneliness is. It's nothing to be ashamed of, but people don't know how to connect, and that's what I teach.
And yeah, like when we were growing up and we were both kind of in that same boat there. I mean, we weren't talking about it. Like it wasn't a thing. It's just like, oh, that's just kind of how they are, there's like we weren't talking about it with anyone, let alone each other when we if we would have been able to or had any insight at all as to what was going on and why
Hmm.
it's like we're not that different and we're not alone on that. And I mean that would I mean I don't know, but I mean I already knew you pretty well by then, but I mean we weren't talking about that even
No, we didn't have that self-awareness. We didn't have the language or the tools that kids now thankfully do. I mean, there's also a lot more problems, I think, with kids and the connection and the texting and the online bullying and all of that we didn't have to deal with. But there's also more awareness of you know, introversion, anxiety, depression, things like that we just didn't talk about or didn't know about when we were going through it.
yeah, I mean it was nothing. I don't even know what we would have called it back then. It was just I mean it was nothing.
Childhood.
Yeah, right, it was childhood. It's like, oh, this is how everyone kind of is, but then everyone wasn't. Everyone sure wasn't. So it was
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, so I mean, like, are you working with kids at all? Or do you have to like with their adult signature, not with their adult signature, with like with the adult giving their permission for you to work with their kid? Like I've had to work with not had to. I've worked with a few kids, but definitely had their parents around and have them and have them signing permission slips. But because I mean, it's something that would be good for kids to be able to do. Like, are you, because I mean, like you going to a school and start doing tours of that, I think could be pretty beneficial to a lot of kids. Because I mean, especially with that, just I mean, if that's ever something that you're wanting to go towards, I mean, I think there would be, I mean, a lot of schools, just, because there's always needs for speakers at schools, and that's something that people aren't. I don't know. We didn't have assemblies about that. We had assemblies about people jumping rope and don't do drugs. And
Yes.
that's what I remember. But
The
there
Van
now,
Halen's jump.
yep, Van Halen's jump all the time.
I know.
Yep, jump and yep, and jump for love. And those just all those I hear them on the radio and I'm like, oh, I remember the jump roping
Yep.
and that's what I remember. And so Dare now, I went to dinner on my birthday last year and there was a Dare booth outside of a shop. And I went up and I wanted to get stuff basically to sell online. I was going to go and try to get all the free gifts to sell online. But I went up there and I started talking to the guy who was running it. And he was telling me that Dare doesn't even stand for anything anymore. Because when we went, it was a drug abuse resistance education is what Dare stood for.
Yep.
Now it doesn't stand for anything, and it's about bullying mostly,
Oh.
which is something that kind of was odd. So, but I
Hmm.
mean, I don't know. I don't know if kids, maybe even high school, maybe middle school, maybe I don't know. I don't know if that's quite your demographic or not your
Yeah.
demographic yet, or
It's
if that's
not. Yeah, I think God, I would love to help everyone because these social skills are for any age, really. But who I really speak to are people of our generation or a little bit older because
oh, okay,
they remember the time without the internet. Educating people who have no memory of life without a phone or a screen is a different, slightly different approach. It's the same skills, absolutely. Like we're all humans. We all like conversation skills. Doesn't matter how old you are,
right.
or but
Wow.
the messaging and the effort to reach that population is different than what I do. So I've had
Yeah.
clients buy kids for their books, or buy kids for their books, buy books for their kids um, who are in college and high school. My book, they bought my
Okay.
book.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's applicable and they enjoyed it. I got some 5-star reviews from the kids, so that was great. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's a
So
little bit different approach.
yeah. Okay. So then it's people, yeah, who had the time before all of the internet and everything. And so, so are you when you're starting this out, when you start talking to them, are you like bringing them back to that time before that, or is it just kind of go like right into the present? Like, are you going and sort of addressing what was in the past, or is it just kind of like start
Wow.
here, go forward, here's new
Yeah.
skills?
What happened in the past is that we simply were able to use our human instincts more than we are now. People think that they're getting connection from behind a screen, but your body is not registering that as connection. That's why people can have 10,000 Facebook friends or whatever the limit is and still
Yeah.
be super lonely because there's no meaning there. No one they haven't shared anything meaningful with people. They don't know about these people. There's no connection. They see each other's curated posts and probably feel more lonely and excluded because that's not my life. Oh gosh.
Yeah,
Um,
they're not in that.
they're not in that.
They're not
But
sharing that time.
really, before technology got to where it was in the past 30 years, we were just allowed to use our human instincts for connecting. So I don't even need to do a throwback to, hey, remember the 90s? I just jump right into what our human instincts are, which have served us for thousands of years, which is to connect. We're social creatures. We just are. We're not solitary creatures. And so a lot of ailments, particularly loneliness, can be attributed to what our culture has gotten away from our natural instincts are to do. So I just get people back to that really quick.
So then when they're, I mean, so yeah, I mean, I feel like there's a lot of places that are going to start knocking at your door here. And yeah, I mean, because I don't know. I don't know why. yeah, I don't know. I think more people need to be seeing what you're doing because it's just something that's so easily overlooked and just like this is just how things are now. I'm kind of
No,
shit out of luck and
no, absolutely
like
not. And
yeah, and it's
thank you for saying that, Rusty.
yeah,
Yeah, it's you're not shit out of luck. I've worked with people in their 70s and 80s. I mean, it's never too late. You know, the older population is one of the lonelier populations, not the loneliest. The young kids are the loneliest by far, and
oh
that's sad. Um,
yeah,
but you know, what whoever I can reach with these skills, like again, dating, schmating, I'll get you tons of dates, but I'm going to give you so much more than that. I'm going to give you a meaningful, connective life that's not lonely and it's fulfilling. You're welcome.
yeah, right.
You didn't even know that's what you needed, but that's what you need.
Yeah. And I mean, how many people that even just right now they're listening? I mean, there's just going oh, ding, 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 ding in their head. Like I didn't know that, but
Mhm.
that's that's what's been wrong. That's what's been wrong. And that's what I mean. You have an answer right here. I don't know if I'm pointing the right way or if it's I guess it's one one whoever's speaking is what it's showing. So it's just like there,
Yes, yes,
her,
right here, right
her,
here.
Camille, yeah. And you get that. And so with that, then you got all kinds of it's hard because like I mean it's one of those things like admitting you have a problem with it
Mhm.
is probably the hardest part. And so I mean what's good what's gonna be the thing for them to is it them hearing this and here's it's like it's not scary to do this. And if you think it is, Camille can help and make that part a lot
Mhm.
less scary rather than like you do it once, it's going to be a lot less scary moving forward. Whereas if you go and you put up this front, like I talk about this for people who have PTSD, which is not kind of in the same thing, but like it you go and I have them experience it one more time and then make that a lot less important and impactful of a an event and just do it one more time and then it's just going to get easier and easier and easier and easier every single day you're doing it. And so like it's one of those you just gotta get in there. Like it's going to be easier, it's not going to get harder, it's not going to get harder if you go talk with Camille.
Yeah, no, it's and you know, I've had a few people reach out to me and say, "Well, it's easy for you. You're pretty." Like I try to make it as clear as possible on my website. If you go read about me, I grew up with social anxiety before we knew what that word actually meant. Again, you know, people know that now. I mean, everyone has social anxiety thanks to the pandemic. But
Yeah,
like growing up in the 80s and 90s, we didn't know what that was. I
nope,
just knew like I probably had panic attacks and didn't know what was happening. And I thought that
yeah,
everyone else experienced this and just handled it better than I did. I mean, I had acne. I had terrible haircuts, Ben. Remember my like,
yeah.
or shoot, edit that
I,
out.
it's cool. No, it's cool. I did too. I had stupid haircuts. I had bowl cuts. I had, I look like I don't know. I was not someone who was like easy on the eyes at all. Not at all. And so like, yeah, I get it. It was kind of shitty. And it was just like, okay, this is
This
me.
is what it is. This is your
Yeah,
life, you know,
that's how it's gonna
and
be forever.
yeah, exactly. Because you have no perspective, especially when you're a kid. You're like, oh my God, I don't know. This is what my life is. Like, I'll just accept it. I'm never going to be popular. I'm never going to be pretty. I'm never going to be able to have lots of friends. And that is just so not true. No matter what age you are, no matter what age you are, I can give you simple, tiny little steps custom to you and your situation, your lifestyle, your living location, your personality that will help you feel more connected within minutes to more people around you and start overcoming those fears that you have that have been allowed to build up over the years and decades. Start to break those down, just like it sounds like you do with your clients.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I just got to get over that first hump and like, because now I'm gonna probably get a little bit of uh, you know, people not liking this one, but so there's a thing. It's a thing. It's very much a thing, and it's but the term triggered, which you can't use that term now anymore.
You
You know,
can't? Why not?
no, it's guns or something or
Oh, okay.
but so it's one of those things that's like because it makes stories like you can't have a story like the story someone is always overcoming something and you can't have a story be you're doing this Rusty he's here but he has a fear of meeting new people and it's just oh I'm triggered I I did my best but it's hard just like because with that being more accepted now I guess it's you kind of lose that thing of like you should be trying to
Yeah.
like
Keep
don't
going.
be afraid of this stuff like you got it's gonna just destroy you if you stay afraid of
Yeah.
this stuff forever it's just gonna compile more and more and just be that much stronger and every
Yeah.
day it's just like oh gosh I hope I don't have to talk to anybody today
Yeah.
and
What a
like
horrible way to live.
yeah and a lot of people live
And
that way
I've been
and
there. You have
me
too.
too. And yeah, it's like, oh, I don't want to have to see people. Like, oh, geez, what if
Yeah,
they don't like me?
I
What?
know. It's like
Oh,
I hate people. I mean, there was a period, as a teenager, I was like, I hate people. I love animals. Can I just be friends
yeah,
with animals? And
right.
you don't hate people. You hate experiences that you've had with people who were rude or mean or just didn't know how to handle social awkwardness or, or insecure, whatever. But inherently, humans love people. We don't love all people. Trust me. I love
Yep.
humanity. Most people drive me nuts. But that's why I'm really selective about who I have in my life. But I can do that because I've worked on myself and my awareness. I own my fears. I've overcome a lot of them, and I'm still a work in progress. But I have come a long way, longer than most people ever have to go in their life to feel the benefits of social skills and feeling connected and having a friend you can confide in and people who accept you. Um, there's nothing like it. I mean, on a biological level, the hormones that are released when you have even one person in your life like that or a good conversation with someone is just euphoria.
Yeah. And I mean, I've seen people, post, post their whatever on, TikTok or Facebook or whatever, posting all their stuff that's going on with them in a negative sense. Like, where it's like, just if you talk to somebody personally, because you're just getting all this stuff, it's not going to make you feel any better. It might make you feel better for a minute or two, but 10 minutes later, you're right back where you were, if not feeling more disconnected from
Totally.
the world and anything that you've done or experienced. You're just even further out where you can just go talk to somebody. You know people. If you don't know people, go meet people. There's not everyone is scary and you can there's tons of people just you can I don't know, maybe you can see, maybe you don't. Maybe it takes you talking to them for a little bit to be like, okay, I don't like this person. And that's okay. Nothing wrong with that. But there are people,
Your
there are
people
people
are
for
out there.
everybody. Yeah.
Exactly. Your people are out there, and the only way you're going to find them is by just throwing out little conversation starters or sharing your humor and seeing, like, sharing something out loud, a little short quip, and like the one person over there that smiled and got the joke, you're like, you, yeah, you,
Yeah.
I want to talk to you, you
Yeah.
know.
You're my
And the other people who
person.
are like weirdo, you're like, I don't want to talk to you.
Yeah. You wouldn't
Um,
get it anyway.
yeah, exactly. So it's It is work. It is work. It's not easy, but it can be one of the most rewarding things you've ever done. And it can be done in small steps. Uh, it doesn't have to be scary. Like tiny, tiny little steps. Like because every time you make the decision to give into the fear, you're strengthening that muscle. It's not
Yeah,
just like, oh, you just stay where you are if you don't engage people and connect, you go down. You're either going to go up when you make the choice to connect, or you're going to go down and work that muscle of giving into the fear. So, staying where you are is really not an option. You're going to get worse if you don't get
yeah,
better.
it's true. And it's not staying where you are, like you were saying. It's going down. You're just reinforcing that more and more and more every day. Like, gosh, I can't meet people. I don't like anybody.
Read my book. My book
Yeah,
literally is little
right.
micro ways to start connections. I have tons of stories. Some are dating, some are friendships, some are, everything in between. It's the offline dating method. It's available in 2 editions on Amazon. One's for women seeking men, one is for all genders and sexual orientations. I will give you 1,000 ways to start conversations and meet new people and start living a more connected and less lonely life.
Yeah, you know what you can even do when you get there? Go buy yourself a Rolodex because you're gonna have tons of people to put their phone numbers and information in there because it's gonna be lit, as the kids say. I guess I can say what the old kids say, it's gonna be tubular radical stuff. So but yeah, get that Rolodex filled up. You're gonna be going out, and Camille has the steps to get it there. Check out her book, books in
Books.
plural for whatever applies to you, or just read both because why wouldn't you? And go to our website, masterofflinedating.com.
I've got a
And
free challenge there. You can sign up for the free challenge. You can read my blogs. I've got lots of free resources. So just pick what speaks to you and dive in.
yeah, well, cool. Well, hey, thank you very much, Camille. Yeah, I'm happy we got to do this, and yeah, just check it out. Just give it a check out, and you'll be in there. You'll be hooked. So, yeah, thanks again for doing this, and we will. Yeah, well, I'll be back here sometime. So, thank you everybody for listening, and this is the Public Access Podcast on the Quantum Global Broadcasting Network. I am Rusty Diamond, and this is Camille, Virginia, and that's the show, man.